Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to another classic WWE pay-per-view watch-along. Tonight, Unforgiven, 1998. This one's going to be fun because I was there. Took place in Greensboro, North Carolina. Made the trip up with a buddy of mine, and we met some wrestlers that day. And I think we even went to the Raw the next night and even the house show the night before that, if I remember right. So this is a really fun, long week of wrestling for me back in the day when I was just 21 years old, and I have a lot of memories of it. So since it is the month of April, that is when this show took place, nearly 24 years ago to the day. I think the anniversary of the show was like 3 or 4 days ago, and it would be a good one to do since it was the first ever Inferno match, Austin's first title defense against Dude Love, right after the McMahon storyline started and WWE finally started winning in the ratings war against WCW. I think we have Luna Vachon and Sable in this thing doing a strip match or something. All sorts of other cool stuff going down, and also the rumors of Ric Flair circling the arena because back then it was when he had his falling out with WCW and was rumored to be leaving and heading back to the Fed, and we were all hoping he would turn up that night, but he did not, and it should be fun to look back at this show. Let me say hi to everybody here in the chat, make sure that we're all looking good up here. Good, nice. You can hear me? This is going to be fun. Thank you to everyone for being here this week and last week as well. Sorry about last week's technical difficulties. If you are looking for Backlash 2004, I removed the video because we had a small little interruption which just goofed up our timer, and it really just screwed up the rewatchability of that video. So I just took it down. We should not have that problem tonight. We've been doing watch-alongs for a year and a half and have not had anything like that happen before. That happened last week, so I don't think that will happen again. If it does, I'm a little bit better prepared for it this time. I got my backup plan in place, but I really don't think it's going to happen, so we should not have to worry. Let me say hi to Mike Pitt, Lil Justin. We are pro wrestling. Glad you are here. Might have some questions for you. That's right. The night Ric Flair almost returned. Tatanati and Victor and Jay Lambo. We've got Mezzo, Alan Barkley, Jet the Hawk, Kevin, K-Dogs Ken. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you. Rodrigo, JL, Allen. We've got Ben, Ray, David in the house, and Nick, and Deshaun. Good. Monkey Wrench Party. Vash Starwind is here. JL, I'm not sure if I got you. David, good to see you as well, man, and everybody else that is in here right now waiting for us to rock and roll. Appreciate you being here, as always, as most of you guys usually are on Sundays. Please hit that like button for me if you don't mind. If you are not a subscriber, please do. And as you guys know, you were with me every single week. We do these watch-alongs over on the Peacock. You can follow along elsewhere if you would like, but you'll be able to sync up perfectly with us if you watch on Peacock. So you want to go to WWE, look up the premium live events, find your Unforgiven page, and go to Season 1, Episode 1 of Unforgiven. The runtime on this, according to Peacock, is 2 hours, 42 minutes even. So not very long, just a little bit over 2.5 hours here on the Peacock version. And we will all be hitting play together here in just a little bit once everybody kind of gets themselves situated. Hopefully you guys are pulling up your Peacock or whatever you're going to use in the meantime, and we'll get going here in just a couple of minutes. Spaz Phoenix chiming in right off the bat with a $20 drop. Good to see you, man. Thank you for that very generous super chat. Cheers, Greg, and the cat and the chat. Cheap plug. I got Backlash and Under Siege previews coming for you guys next weekend, and I'm bringing back NXT Rewind. Just dropped NXT TakeOver Revival 2015. Hope you're all doing great. That was a great show back in the day, the good old days of NXT. Yes, please go check out Spaz Phoenix's YouTube channel. Give him a subscription. Check out some of his stuff, especially if you like NXT. He covers a lot of that, and he's much better at keeping you up to date on that stuff than I am. So check him out, show him some love, and I would appreciate it. I apologize for kind of the light week of videos here on the channel. Man, wrestling isn't just right after WrestleMania, that WrestleMania lull kind of thing. Hell, even Backlash this Sunday doesn't look that great. So I didn't bother with a podcast yesterday because I actually had some plans Friday night and I wasn't going to be able to set it up. Tomorrow, I have no plans to do a Raw review either, but I need to get up here and do Backlash predictions sometime this week. So you're either going to get those from me on Tuesday or Friday. I'm not sure yet. I know that's crazy. And also, there will not be a Dynamite watch-along on Wednesday either. So I'm probably going to come up here on Tuesday, discuss some wrestling news, bust out those Backlash predictions, and then this Sunday, after Backlash, of course, we'll be up here for a review after the show. And it looks like they've announced some 6-man main event now. Doesn't look like the unification is happening unless they make this match a winner-take-all, which I don't even know. So I will educate myself on that stuff, and we'll be up here to talk about it in just a couple of days. So that's what we got going on here on the channel. It's just kind of a downtime right now, and I got a lot of shit going on. So I just figured for the next couple of weeks up until Backlash might be a little quiet. But then once we get on the other side of Backlash and we are in May, we will start knocking out some May watch-alongs, Judgment Days, shit like that. Should be fun. So anyway, hopefully in the meantime, you've got your Peacock pulled up. You've got Unforgiven Season 1, Episode 1 pulled up and ready to rock here. We're going to do a countdown from 3 and hit play together. And once we do that, the timer above my head will start running. Now, the way this usually works is no matter what happens, the timer is always going to run above my head. So if you have any interruptions or you need to pause me or pause yourself or whatever, just stay synced up to the timer. Everything will be fine. Last week, however, because my camera froze, I had to kind of reset the software, which reset the timer and fucked it all up. So if that happens again, I've created a plan to deal with that, but I don't think it will. We'll usually have good luck on this channel, and I expect that luck to continue tonight. So hopefully you've got your fingers ready on your play button. Let me get both of mine ready, play button and timer, and we're going to do a play together here in just a second. All right, I am queued up and ready. Are you guys? All right, here we go. Countdown from 3. 3, 2, 1, play. Perfect. Here we go. Do not skip the intro. Just watch it straight through, that good old WWE Attitude Era signature logo, or signature intro, I should say. Fun stuff. Oh, by the way, I got a beer to open. Cheers. I never said cheers. Let me open my Stella. Oh, I missed this voiceover guy. He passed away a few years back, I believe. I'm trying to remember. I think this, I don't even remember if the Inferno match was the main event or not. I think it might have been. Yeah, because they had to set all that shit up. I don't think they set that up and then took it down for Austin to face Dude Love, although I could be wrong. I don't even remember where the Inferno match falls on the show. I think it was the main event. Pretty sure it was the main event. But it might not have been. Shit, Austin should be the main event, his first pay-per-view after winning the title. I guess we will find out, huh? Actually, this is something I actually have to know. I was at this show and I don't remember. Yeah, Austin and Dude Love is main event. Okay, as it should be. So that means they really did break all that shit down. Thank you. Yeah, I had to look that up myself. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to sit here and wait. Yeah, We Are Pro Wrestling brought up a good point earlier here in the chat. He said, what did you say about the main event here? Crazy how the main event was only announced a week out of the pay-per-view. And that's right, because I remember kind of the sequence here. You know, Austin won the title. The next night, they presented him with the new title belt. And then they taped Raw. And that taped Raw was the episode where Austin came out in the suit and then tore the suit off and hit Vince in the nuts and did all that. And then the following week was live again, and that was the Vince-Austin match with the hand tied behind his back, and that's the night they won in the ratings. And then I think it was the night after that, or the week after that, that they announced the main event for this, which was probably another taped show, which probably aired the following week. That's my guess on this anyway. I don't know if I've ever watched this pay-per-view straight through before. For some reason, I had this weird thing about not watching the shows I went to. You know, unless I had really good seats and I wanted to look for myself or something. Otherwise, it was, I don't know. I can't explain why. But that Greensboro Coliseum right there, boys and girls, I've been there a million times. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. So my seat is on the hard cam side. I'm above the hard cam on the top row. We did not have great seats for this. This would be one of the only shows I would have really, really bad seats at. Usually I would spring for some decent tickets, but for some reason we didn't for this show. Oh, yeah. So this was right after... you know, Rock booted Farouk out of the nation. That's right. This was a 6-man. Look at D'Lo. Look at that young nation, boy. And I'm going to eat this little adult gummy. bite it in half. These were the days, man. Godfather. Now you could see that shit on the floor there. I remember being at my seat and seeing that. I guess it was just like the gas line or something they were running for what they were going to need to do the Inferno match with later. Because at the time, we still had no idea what the Inferno match was going to look like. I had no idea how they were going to surround the ring in flames. Fucking sellout crowd. Now, I had met Ken Shamrock's coming out here. We met Shamrock right outside the arena. There's a little barbecue restaurant, kind of where by the production trucks parked. And we walked over there, and Shamrock and Mark Marrow and Sable were walking out. Then they stopped and talked to us. Blackman might have been with them, too. I don't remember. But Marrow and Sable I had met before, less than 2 years prior, backstage. And Marrow, like, remembered me and my name and shit. It was unbelievable. I was like, what a nice guy. What a nice dude, that Mark Marrow. And Farouk's now a babyface. I mean, this is a pretty badass team. Shamrock, Blackman, and Simmons. Are you kidding me? That right there is the ultimate trios team. Name me 3 guys that could beat those dudes. Like in a shoot. Nobody. Even if you put Ming on the other side. Maybe Ming. Okay, this is it. Simmons, Shamrock, and Blackman against Ming, Brock, and like one other guy. Maybe Angle. Brock, Angle, Ming. Oh yeah, that might be the unbeatable team. Never mind. I think I've just found a better team. The Rock, man, still hanging on to that IC title. He would hold that title. Austin would give it to him at that December show, right? And then he would survive Rumble. He'd survive Mania somehow. Both against Kenny, I think. And he'd hold this belt all the way till SummerSlam. Triple H beat him for it. And then he'd get it right. No, he wouldn't get it back. He'd be done with it by that point. Then he'd be world champion. That's pretty crazy to think about here. I mean, Rock was still a bubbling star here in April. By November, he's your WWE champion. Austin and Rock, both winning their first WWE titles in the same year. It's pretty crazy when you think about it now. I don't know, man. If my buddy is who went to me with the show is in the chat, he can maybe help me out. I doubt he's watching, but when we were, I started to get confused now. It's been so many years. Some of these shows are running together, so I'm not sure if it was this specific show, but I know after the show we met a bunch of people at Waffle House, and I'm pretty sure it was this one, but I think it might have also been the show where we were driving, because we drive all over North Carolina, these interstates, and this would happen often, too. Sometimes you just be driving, just cruising down the interstate, heading to a WWE show, and you just look to your left or your right, and you look in the lane next to you, and there's Kane. Kane and Undertaker just cruising down the road. Oh, look, there's Godfather. And these guys would just all drive, like back then they would all be driving like Crown Vics and these rental cars, and they'd be fucking weaving and flying. And one time, I swear, I drove my little Nissan Sentra, this little 4-cylinder 1994 Nissan Sentra. And I drove that thing 100 miles an hour chasing after these guys, you know, getting to the hotel and stuff. And you would see that shit all the time. It was so crazy. You run into wrestlers before the show. I think pretty sure we ran into Luna Vachon and Gangrel during the day, getting gas right outside the arena. And then after the show, as soon as you'd leave, you'd go on the first couple of exits and go hit a Waffle House, and you sit in there. Sure enough, half the damn roster hanging in there eating waffles. So it was a very cool time to be a wrestling fan in your 20s, you know, when you're old enough to, you know, go around and travel and go to shows and shit. Quite the experience. The only thing I wish is that we had iPhones back then so I could have documented everything and had photos of everything. Like that old lady in Titanic says, they exist now only in my memory. Yeah, Farouk and D'Lo. Look at these guys. Look at D'Lo. Come on, man. Ooh. Oof. I'm trying to think how many shows, like significant shows anyway, I've been to in this building. I've been to a few house shows, but I've been to Unforgiven 98, which was here. Oh, look at the crowd going nuts. King of the Ring 99 was in this building. I was there as well. I'm pretty sure the This Is Your Life Raw segment was also in this building. I was also there for that. I'm trying to think what other significant shows took place in Greensboro that I was at. Survivor Series 2001, also in this building. I was also there. Maybe something else. And I know I've been there again for like a SmackDown or a Raw or something. Because they've been in they'd hit Greensboro for Raw, I think a minimum of once a year, sometimes twice. Any opinions on Ryback's tweet? Ryback's a piece of shit. That's my opinion on Ryback. He's an irrelevant moron. I mean, wrestling fans have their differences. They do. Wrestling fans are constantly at each other's throats like idiots every day on social media. The one thing I do, however, think that brings us all together, regardless of what side of the AEW and WWE stupid war you're on, I think we can all agree that Ryback's a piece of shit. You know, so we should use that as a coming together point. So if you're ever arguing with somebody and it's getting real heated, just say, hey, at least we can agree Ryback's a piece of shit. And maybe that'll cool things off. Because if you don't think Ryback's a piece of shit, then something's wrong with you. Seek help. Ryback's just bitter and upset that nobody cares about him and nobody wants him. Nobody gives a fuck about him. I mean, he blocked half the wrestling universe anyway, but, you know, even his tweets get very little likes and engagements, you know, for somebody like him who's, you know, did have a following when he was in WWE. But that, as soon as you put that poll up, it says, what should I do? Go to AEW, WWE, or retire? And it overwhelmingly became retire. And he thought it was trolls and bots, so he put it back up again, and it's the same result. I'm like, everybody hates him. And so I think part of what he did was kind of on purpose to tweet something out that's so asinine that's going to get him some buzz. I don't know what that noise was. That's going to get him a little bit of buzz or get him some attention, because that's obviously what he craves. Disco Inferno's the same way. Purposely tweeting out stupid shit because nobody gives a fuck about him. So he wants to make sure he can make some noise, even if it means getting dunked on. Hey, at least people are talking about him, right? Taking it to fucking Farouk. You could really see this thing coming, though. I'd say maybe late 97. Maybe October, November. Maybe even before that Rock was going to be taken over. Mark really dropping the elbows. Disco Inferno, you listen to his channel? Of course not. Never. No. I don't have time to listen to people I do like, much less people I don't give a shit about. So, no. Big no. Big no. Oh, which one do I prefer, Nation Farouk or APA Farouk? Probably APA Farouk, because APA Farouk was a little closer to Ron Simmons, and I never really liked the Farouk name. I didn't like how WWE, you know, transitioned Ron Simmons into that goofy-ass blue helmet thing, and it got a little better when, you know, they revamped the Nation a little bit, but still, I think APA Farouk made me feel like I was watching Ron Simmons, not Farouk Assad. So I prefer APA version. You know, there's certain instances where giving a guy a gimmick or changing his name or something like that is for the better. You know, but a guy like Simmons, who is already a world champion, a recognizable name, and how WWE loves to capitalize on, you know, people with previous, previous jobs, previous careers prior to WWE. Ron Simmons was big-time college athlete at Florida State. Seems like WWE would want to acknowledge the shit out of that, but they could have just brought him in as Ron Simmons. I think he would have been fine. Ron Simmons versus Ahmed Johnson, give me that any day of the week. Yeah, we are only, what, 3 weeks into the career of Dude Love at this point? I know I should have tried to dig them out. I have pictures of this show but they were taken with a really crappy disposable camera. You can barely see anything, but you can see how high up I am. So basically, I'm up on the hard cam side. I'd say looking down into the ring with the entrance on the left. I'm probably just a little bit off to the left of the hard cam was where our seats were, if I remember right. I didn't even know if I had this on VHS, so I started looking on my shelf here. First one I found was this thing. It's sealed, and it looks like it came out of one of those, like, box sets. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe I have one of these, like, cheap versions. And then I look a little further, and sure enough, I do have the original VHS Unforgiven Coliseum, or not Coliseum video by this point. It was WWF home video. And I'm pretty sure I have the pay-per-view recording of this as well. Because whenever I would go to a show, it was hard, but it worked almost every time I did it. I would buy the show on pay-per-view and set my VCR, and I'm pretty sure it worked. Other times, WWE would run encores, and I would wait to the encore, buy it, and then record it so I can get the footage. But usually, especially for the Raws and stuff, I would just set my VCR to record it if I went to Raw, and it would often work, from what I remember. Oh yeah, Dude Love was. I guess I meant heel Dude Love. Sorry, I forgot we did get Dude Love in '97 as a babyface. Was kind of an odd choice for Austin's first opponent after winning the title, but they didn't really have anybody else. Shawn was gone, so you can't do a rematch. Taker and Kane are doing their thing. I mean, who else would you really put him against? He really lacked some early opponents here. Worked with Dude Love twice in a row. Next month, by the way, we're going to be doing, or this month, it's May. Shit, this month. I'm doing an Over the Edge 1998 review, yeah. And that's Austin Dude Love. That match I actually liked better than the main event here. Really good stuff. And I think WWE realized that Austin was lacking opponents at that time, too, because they inserted Undertaker and Kane into all that. Undertaker was in Austin's corner that night. Then Austin would work with Kane at King of the Ring, and then he'd work with Taker at SummerSlam. So that was really his only real challengers. Yeah, and the funny thing is, the following month after this, I would be at the show. It was in Richmond, Moonsault by D'Lo. Beautiful moonsault. It was the night that, it was like after Over the Edge. So it would have been the Raw taping after Over the Edge. So it would have been the Tuesday after Over the Edge. The night after the post-pay-per-view live Raw. And it was in Richmond, taped for the following week. And that was when Dude Love I think was berated by Vince on the Love Shack or whatever. And then Vince made Dude Love face Terry Funk in like the Falls Count Anywhere match. And they brawled right next to us. They came right by us when they were brawling. It was awesome. And Austin was on commentary for that. So that was only the next month. So the very following month, I would be at a few shows, and I might have even been at more than that. I can't see driving up there just for that Tuesday Raw, not doing anything else, but I must have. But anyway, that was another show I was at just a month later. Oh, Farouk's going for the Dominator on The Rock. Oh, God. Yikes. That did not look good. I hate the Dominator move. And he pinned him. I didn't even know Farouk beat The Rock there. The Dominator is one of my least favorite finishers. I love Ron Simmons. Do not like the Dominator. You're just picking somebody up and throwing them down on their knees. Like, what? I mean, it might hurt a little bit, but it's not going to beat you. Look at that, Ron Simmons with a pinfall victory over The Rock on pay-per-view. I like it. Do I think Austin versus Dr. Death would have worked? Hell yeah. Anything in 99 would have worked. Because Dr. Death, I think the intent there was for him just to be an opponent for Austin, not beat Austin for the title. I just think he's going to work a program with him, which probably would have been fun, and Austin would have won and disposed of him. Oh, we're going to promo? Post-match interview? Look at that. I wish I knew what parts of the show I was like going to the back. Oh, see, there's this is basically where my seat was. Did you see that did you see that wide shot of the arena? That's exactly basically where I was sitting. It's right where that camera was. They got to get Austin out early. Get him out for a promo or something, right? Here's something else I remember about this, if my memory serves. Vince is supposed to be at ringside for this, right? And I remember during the lead into this, Austin even in a promo, he's like, Vince has only done that one other time, and that was at the Survivor Series when someone else got screwed. So they were acknowledging that Vince is going to pull some fast ones here and do whatever he can to get the belt off of Austin. For as good of a feud as Austin and Vince was, and probably the best rivalry of all time, why Vince didn't want Austin to be champion didn't make any sense to me, storyline-wise. Like Shawn was any better? Mr. DX guy? Oh, yeah, he's got poor little Mark Eaton. Little timekeeper. Don't beat him up, Austin. He didn't do nothing. He's a poor little guy. Leave him alone. He probably got this shit enough when he was in school. Bad things happen when people piss me off. If Vince McMahon screws me for this title tonight, after I get through beating his ass up and down every single one of these aisles. Oh, that would be fun. Your little yellow carcass. You hear that, Mark Eaton? Your little yellow carcass. What's up, Timo? Yeah, Vince wanted Austin to be champion, but he wanted Austin to be controllable. But even before Austin won the belt, prior to WrestleMania 14, Vince did the promo where he basically admitted, he goes, oh, hell no, about Austin being champion. So he kind of let it be known prior to that. Maybe, but by then he realized that Austin couldn't be controlled. But you think about the previous year, all the shit that Shawn was doing to Vince, making his life nuts. especially at the end with DX. Remember, they played the curtain call on the Titantron, and Vince got all pissed off the night after Bad Blood. Vince preferred that guy over Austin. Didn't seem like he can control Shawn either. And that's the bottom line. So Austin's just basically issuing a warning that you're going to be whooped up and down those aisles if you screw him. So don't be screwing him. I'm not. Y'all can if you want, but I'm not going to. But yeah, just that was the part of the Vince Austin stuff that didn't really make sense. Is because you had a worse champion before Vince. Shawn Michaels walked all over Vince. Stormed out, got in fights with Brett, lost his smile, forfeited championships instead of dropping him. And yet, he'd prefer that because what, Austin wore a suit once? Or because Shawn wore a suit like in prior to WrestleMania 14, the Tyson stuff. Remember Austin or Shawn was wearing some suits on TV in the press conferences and stuff. Is that what he means by like a corporate champion? Because other than that, Shawn was not dressing corporate. He was cut off T-shirt and Tupac bandana. You know, I don't understand. Like Vince makes no sense, basically. Like Vince has a better option here. And then instead of Austin, he gets Toothless Dude Love. Oh, I forgot about the cage thing. We're going to have somebody hanging from the ring during an Owen Hart match, aren't we? Yep. Yep, we are. I've seen Owen wrestle live a bunch of times, too. I watched him wrestle about a month before he died and have a really cool picture of him. I was in the second row on the aisle, and he climbed up to the top rope, and I got a picture of him standing on the top rope. But like I said, back in those days, you just used the disposable cameras, and at the house shows, the lights are always dark. So all you see is just Owen, and it looks like he's just floating in a sea of black. Like there's nothing around him. He's just floating in the air. It's weird. I haven't seen that picture in a while. If I ever dig it up, I'll show it to you guys. But it was just a few weeks before he died. And there's the pet recapping WrestleMania. Yeah, so that was awesome, actually. I really enjoyed that when she put the powder in Slaughter's eyes. DX guy passed away too, didn't he? Break it down. So who's he got with him? Just China tonight. She's got the European title. I would think that X-Pac gets involved tonight somewhere. Maybe, I know, I think Outlaws might face LOD on this show. I remember back in the day, there was some rumors that kid was Triple H's brother. Because they kind of look alike. They both had the nose. I would also be at the show. Also the following month. Oh, no. So it must have been after this. Oh, I need help. Was it May or April? I was at the show where DX invaded Nitro. I was in Hampton. That must have been after this. I'm pretty sure that it was the Tuesday after this. Or no, the Monday after this. Because Owen, maybe it was the next night. Might have been the next night after this, might have been the DX invasion. And then the next night after that was a Raw taping and Owen Hart turned heel. I was at that show, if I remember right. I might be way off, but it's right around this time. Owen's weird-ass theme back then. Timmy White. Timmy White sighting. Some legends in there. Timmy White, fucking Sergeant Slaughter. Owen. Owen and China. Rest in peace to both of you. Thanks for the super chat, Timu. Greg streams always make me sad to realize I'm only the second sexiest man alive. That's if you ain't first, you're last. That European belt means too much to me. Yeah, I think Owen, after failing here again to capture the European title, would go heel 2 days after this, I think. Oh, it was the night after Owen turned. Okay, Andy. Okay, so it was the same thing. I was thinking the Owen turn came at the taping, so I must be wrong. So everything happened that night. The following night. Yeah, so okay, so I would have been in Hampton then the next night, and that was the night the DX did the invasion. And then I'm pretty sure I was at the Raw taping on Tuesday as well. I just don't recall where that would have been. Maybe I wasn't. But the Hampton show I remember. But I swear I was at a taping. Thank you. Okay, you're putting it together for me. I was thinking the Foley and Funk match happened after Over the Edge. But I guess not. It happened the following week, which means Foley Funk happened Tuesday. Because I know the Foley Funk match that I went to was a taping, and it was on a Tuesday. So, okay, so that's probably what happened. Foley probably beat Funk. That earned him his match at Over the Edge. That's probably what happened. Yeah, and that was in Richmond, and that was I was right in the crowd. They brawled right past me. It was awesome. So that's the sequence of events. Okay, see, that's I can't remember. So yeah, so that was and we were at the house show the night before on Saturday. That was 4 shows in a row for me. So we went to the Saturday show the night before. We were probably in Fayetteville for that. Then here for actually I know we were in Fayetteville for that. I remember. And then here for Unforgiven. Then the next night, we were in Hampton for Raw. That was when DX invaded Nitro. And the night after that, I was in Richmond for the Raw taping that had the Dude Love, or the Foley and Funk Falls Count Anywhere deal. So, yeah, that was a 4-show weekend for me. That's what we used to do. Just drove and drove and drove and drove. Had energy like a motherfucker back then. That would kill me to do it now. It's hard enough to go to 4 shows at the same building, even if you're staying in the same damn city. Imagine driving and doing all this stuff. We got a little glimpse of what the fucking wrestlers go through doing that stuff. Oh. Hunter got raised into the cage before China had a chance to get lifted up. Yeah, my timeline was a little off there. For some reason, I was thinking the Foley Funk stuff came after Over the Edge, but it didn't. Suck it. Jesus. I will say, I mean, I just have no overall general dislike for heights as it is, but I don't think I could do the shark cage thing. Like, you're just at the mercy of, I mean, I know everything hangs up there. It's, I mean, of course, unfortunately not with Owen, but it's probably safe. You know, you go to a basketball game, you see those big centerpiece scoreboards hanging there, you know, from the top and stuff. But if I was in that cage, imagine if it snapped and you just fell. You'd die. It would be the gnarliest fucking death. Guess it'd be like if an elevator snapped or something, just went all the way down. Probably just your spine would come through your ass. Timu, I have gotten that comment so many times. I'm so happy that people think I'm 6'8", because I'm next to Scott Hall and I've got him by a couple of inches. Scott Hall was sitting in that picture. That's why I look so tall. He had like a stool, just like a bar stool. And he was sitting in there so he didn't have to stand the whole fucking time. for all of the pictures that he had to take. So that's why I look like Scott Hall, but I'm about 6'1". Look at China's already trying to get through those bars up there. When I posted that picture after Scott passed away, everybody's like, damn, good mic work, how tall are you? And I'm like, he's sitting. Yeah, I just don't do well with anything up high or anything that I feel like a total lack of control. Because even if that thing fell, there's nothing for you to grab onto to try to save yourself. You're just at the mercy of the fall. And you just kind of got to hope for the best, you know. I don't even know what you got about 1 second to make some sort of decision how you want to brace yourself. I don't like that. Wouldn't want to be up there. Yeah, but the cool thing, Timo, though, I didn't correct anybody anytime somebody, or I don't think I did on Twitter when they're like, damn, you're tall. I just let them believe it. Yeah, and Paul Bearer was up there at 96 too. Lawler has been up in one of those. Remember he did the nosebleed thing? That might have been Bret and Yankum. Might have been Bret Hart Yankum on like Raw. And they put Lawler up there and he got the nosebleed. I just look at China. Yeah, I just wouldn't want to be up there. I would just be CC, yeah, I've seen myself a bunch of times on the shows. I'm on a few Raws. A couple pay-per-views come to mind. Survivor Series 2001, you can see me throughout the whole show. The hard cam is right on me. I'm just to the right of the ring a little bit. And then you can catch me in the beginning of Unforgiven 99 holding up a very mature sign. China's still trying to go to the bar. She eventually pulls through or pushes through him, I think. Or bends them. Triple H going for a crossroads on Owen. Welcome, everyone, except for Stu and Helen. Fucking Lawler. It's got some mat wrestling going on here. I don't recall how Triple H retains here. Oh, does China drop him a weapon? Maybe some knucks or something? Oh, Lord, what does she have? Is she going to pick the lock? She's going to saw through the bars? Would she do bake a file and a cake? Like prison? I don't think Harry Smith's going to get in to be in that tournament. I don't know. There's some pretty big talent in there so far. Unless they want to bring him in quickly for fun. But they got a couple of weeks to do it if they want. But oh, she dropped it. Damn. Funny sign in the crowd. I'm in redneck heaven. That was the way it was back then. That Carolina crowd, man, they were enthusiastic as hell, but, man, they were so bonkers for Austin. I don't think the Backstreet Boys or the Beatles were more over than Austin in the South. Oh, what's up, dude? You were at NXT 2 weeks ago, which is now the last match of Dakota Kai. Good for her, man. I'm glad they let her go. Apparently, she wasn't intending on signing a new contract anyway. Made it known that she made the decision to leave, and I'm glad that wrestlers are now finding themselves in a position to turn down ridiculous offers. I like how she's still trying to bend the bars. Yeah, just for overall safety, just keep the cage on the floor. I mean, I guess that leaves it more open to tampering, but if RoboCop comes out, he can just bend the cage. Man, I remember the old days of Kane's Pyro. They would just duct tape that shit around the ring post. So crazy. Ooh. Yeah, exactly. Or 10 feet off the floor. Or somewhere that wouldn't be fatal if there was some sort of mistake, you know? But that's just me. I'm just generally scared of heights in general. Yeah, Tatanani, you know what? We're overdue for a WCW watch-along. I've got a couple on my list already, WWE-wise, next couple of months. I know I want to do King of the Ring 93 in June, and there's some other ones. But yeah, we need to bust out some WCWs. Maybe we'll start looking at some bashes, or hell, we could even do... Last year we did Bash at the Beach for the NWO 96 and maybe something else. But we did a few last year. But yeah, we haven't done one in a few months, so... We're overdue for WCW. Maybe next month. Maybe next month we'll do it. Slamboree. I think Slamboree was usually in May. I still remember back in the day you'd have to call to order pay-per-views and use like a phone automated thing. And I remember I ordered like Slamboree like 2 or 3 years in a row. And for some reason I just remember the audio recording because it's just all automated. And so it would be like a woman's voice. Oh, look at China bending the bars. And she would say, press 1 to order Slamboree. And like the way she said Slamboree, I just remember that for some reason. Just something that sticks out in my memory. And then your bill would be charged. I mean, shit, pay-per-views were still $40 back then. Oof. Which back then I was making a lot less money than I do now. So it was tough to afford that, but I don't know how the fuck I pulled it off. But every month I'd buy a pay-per-view before I'd pay a fucking insurance bill, you know? It was that was the first priority. I was pretty stupid back then with my finances. I'm glad I matured. I would love, Alan, to do an ECW pay-per-view. The problem, though, is, well, shit, they're on there, aren't they? The problem is we want to use Peacock. And, oh, yeah, that's right. Another reason, too, is that the ECW pay-per-views are so heavily edited. But we should maybe watch one. TNA is the reason why we don't do any TNA watch-alongs, because they're not on Peacock, and it would be hard for everybody to find them. But ECW, we could technically do, but man, those things, the music is so heavily altered, and China is going to crawl up out of this thing. Look at her hanging off the edge of this shit. It looked pretty badass from my vantage point, from what I remember. But it must have been Mandela effect. My brain thought the cage was over the ring. I remember China climbing out, and I thought she jumped down into the... Jesus, China. Yeah, there is no pads. And she is just hanging on. Are they going to lower this thing to help her out? Jesus. This is very dangerous. She is, what, 20 feet up? 18 feet, maybe? I mean, she is just... He's going for the sharpshooter. And she is still hanging from there. They're lowering it finally. I'm like, come on. Now she can jump. I was about to say, if she jumps from there, she's going to blow her knees out like Jim Cornette. There she is. So she got herself out of that cage. I think that's a first for shark cages. I don't think anybody's busted out. Oh, Road Dogg. Road Dogg took a shark cage lifting class earlier in the day. Got certified. Yeah, Ellen, I think my response was instinctively thinking TNA, but I knew there was a reason why we don't do many ECW ones either. Pedigree, 2 Triple H by Owen, no referee. And there's X-Pac. Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember that from up top. I think I have a picture of X-Pac in flight with that fire extinguisher. And Triple H wins again. As a fan, I was so happy to see X-Pac back in WWE. It felt like a homecoming. I'm like, the kid is back. I was always a big 1, 2, 3 Kid fan. I thought it was fucking great. And just to see him back in WWE, it felt kind of good. It was like one of the first, X-Pac really was one of the first ones to jump, you know, in the middle of the big war. You know, because Austin and Foley, you know, Vader kind of, you could also consider he was another big one that jumped. But Austin and Goldust didn't feel like defections. They had both been fired by WCW. Little bit of a break in between them showing up in WWE. Vader felt more of like a defection, and so did X-Pac. And then the following year, we would get Big Show, we would get Jericho, and then the fucking ball was rolling then. No looking back. Shortly after that, Radicals, and then they're all going the other way. By the way, if you need to make a long-distance call, 10321 will get you there. Remember all those, well, you guys probably don't, but back in the day, the 10-10-220 commercials, 1-800-COLLECT, all that stuff. Phone bills were a pain in the ass back then, and I was on the phone all the time because I did the hotlines, and my parents lived out here in California. I lived on the East Coast, so I'm calling them all the time. I would get like $300 phone bills every month. It's time for... What is this? What is this, Dynamite? All right, so that was it. I didn't realize that I was in the audience for the birth of Enough is Enough. It's time for a change. And he would go heel next night, right? I had pretty good seats for the Owen heel turn. 21,000. If I wasn't there, y'all, it would be 21,426. You're welcome. I didn't realize that's how many fucking fans were there. I mean, Greensboro's a big arena, but shit, 21K. Mr. NWA. Oh, this might be the new Midnight versus Punky and the Hootster. I don't remember. This was during the angle of the NWA. It might be Barry Windham. I don't think Jeff Jarrett was the NWA guy yet. I think he still had the bright, flashy hat. Cornette, look who's talking. An experience back then that I always remember too. This is before cell phones. Today, I think it's a completely different story. But arenas like this that didn't have anything really surrounding it, and you're just standing outside waiting to get in, and the people you just strike up conversations with and stuff, it was pretty funny sometimes. All sorts of different fans. You know, the annoying, smarky ones, and then the people that are like just really there to have a good time. Parents with their kids. Crackhead-looking dudes, too. They were there. Always. I mean, you can even see on the wide camera shots. What do you think the ratio here is of Austin shirts to every other shirt? Because by that point, he had 3. He had the SCU. He had Other Side Jackass, and he had the original Austin 316. Those were the ones that were always at the merch stands. I'd probably go 45% of the crowd here is in Austin t-shirts. And the other half is everybody else. I'm almost certain I had an Austin shirt on that night. I probably did. They came out to the Rockers theme? I didn't even realize that till now. That's hilarious. Actually, give me prime rockers against prime rock and roll. That would be fun as hell. This was 24 years ago. Ricky Morton has wrestled on Dynamite. How crazy is that? They were washed up a quarter century ago, and he still wrestles. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll do more watch-alongs of shows I was at. I thought about doing WrestleMania 15 this year, but WrestleMania 15 sucks, so I didn't do it. But in June, we could do King of the Ring 99 if you want. I did a review of that, I think, a couple years ago, but I haven't done a watch-along for it. Man, look at them empty green seats in Greensboro. Those green seats stand out. But yeah, a lot of people using the bathroom because who gives a shit about Bombastic Bart or Bobastic Bob? What the fuck is it? I don't even know what it is. Wait, one of them's Bodacious. Quit making fun of me when I misuse outdated pop culture references. Are we cowabunga on this? Oh, Lawler. Worried about the color of Sable's panties. Jesus, Jerry Lawler. Boombastic Bob. Is it bombastic or boombastic? Which one is Mr. Lover Lover? I remember when I was managing my restaurant in North Carolina, and my boss, he was an immigrant from Israel and had lived here at that point probably about 25 years, and he was a super smart guy, and he shows up one day, and he's like, I have a new, because back then we had the music for the restaurant was like, we had like a 100-disc changer or something like that, and we would just rotate out random shit. And he goes, I got a new CD for the changer. And it's whoever sings the Boombastic song. And he like, what is his name? I forget his name. And he gives me the CD, and I say to him, like, Mr. Lover Lover? He's like, yes, it's Mr. Lover Lover. You play Mr. Lover Lover. And I could not believe he brought me Mr. Lover Lover. Funny story. I guess he had to be there. But I'm like, well, this is not what we play in here. But sometimes he just would hear a song or something and like it, and then bring me the CD and say, stick it in the rotation. I'm like, we're a nice restaurant. We're not playing Mr. Lover Lover in here. So I was just like, I just humored him. I'm like, okay, I'll put it in. No problem. And just never played it. But I'm like, he was crazy. Shaggy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shaggy. Shaggy 2 Dope. Or no, he's just regular Shaggy. I'll never forget, he brought me the Shaggy CD. I was like, Mr. Lover, Lover? He's like, yes, Mr. Lover, Lover. He spoke really good English, but he just interactions like that made communication really, really humorous with him. Cornette, what are you going to do? He's going to fight Timmy White? Timmy White will fuck you up. There you go, Timmy. Yeah. He owns a bar in Rhode Island. You don't fuck with Timmy White. Yeah. Look at him, see? Fucking Timmy can scrap. Told you, Cornette. I think Timmy White might have a chance to take on Bob Holly. Timmy White's probably the second toughest man in this entire ring right now. Behind the Bobster. The boombastic one. Sam Goody. My town, we had a ton of... I always liked going to the used record stores and stuff because you could get so much shit. You trade stuff in, too, if you wanted. We had tons of them where I lived. Oof. And this is the second time that the Rock and Roll had come in. They did this stuff in '93 with the Heavenly Bodies. Also with Cornette. Oh, I have a great story. I forgot about this. It's honestly, you know what? I guarantee you it was 2 days. It was the night before this. Because remember, I just got done saying this was a string of 4 shows. We went to the house show Saturday, here the pay-per-view, Raw the next night, the taping on Tuesday. And I was trying to remember where the house show the night before this was. And I said earlier it was probably Fayetteville. I remember it definitely was Fayetteville because we got there pretty early. And in Fayetteville, it was cool where the wrestlers came in was pretty accessible. So a lot of fans would just kind of get to the arena early and goof around and walk over to the parking arena. People do this now. And watch as the wrestlers come in. And I got a ton of pictures. I should have found these pictures, damn it. And I could have showed them on screen here. These actually came out good because the lighting, you're outside in the daylight. So even though you're using a shitty camera, you can see. And we saw The Rock pull up. I got pictures of The Rock, D'Lo Brown, the New Age Outlaws. Road Dogg brings out the belt. He's got the belt in one of those black pouches, and he shows it to us. And it's nice car after nice car showing up. And like I said, Rock, D'Lo, New Age Outlaws. I'm trying to think who else, but I know we saw probably 5 or 6 pieces of talent show up in really, really nice rental cars. Then this little busted, I don't even remember what kind of car it was, but it was like a little Ford something or other, a little Ford Escort, and there's 4 people in it. The car looks like it's 10 years old. It's rusty. It's got a dice thing in the mirror, and the Rock and Roll Express get out of the car. And it was just funny after watching all these wrestlers show up in these sweet rides. These guys show up in this Pinto. Oh, Bulldog to Gibson. That's it. All right. The Midnight Express win. But I just got a huge kick out of that. We laughed our asses off. But they probably weren't under contract. They were just, they weren't making big time money at that time. They were probably just in one of their friends' cars. So obviously they didn't fly in for this shit. They drove in from wherever the fuck they lived down there. And it was hilarious. Hilarious. Look at Luna. Pretty sure we ran into her the same weekend at the gas station with Gangrel. And someone will get stripped of their clothing. Luna's voice could be a villain in, like, the He-Man cartoon series. She sounds like fucking Skeletor. She's so good. I wish they would have let Luna shoot on Sable. Brock's not listening, is he? I don't want him to turn me into that cow in the woods, but... All right. This is a first for your old pal, JR. Oh, jeez. Let me just turn this down slightly. I'll be right back. All right. We are back. Yeah, Goldust was still doing some crazy shit back then. F you. Forever Unchained. Look at the Fink. Here comes Sable. That's where she's from? Buffalo? I never knew that. She got a full-on evening gown. So it's like, I remember at this point, like, shouldn't we be rooting for the babyface to lose then in this situation, right? Yeah, it was kind of hard to see Sable from where I was. But there was a couple things I definitely saw later. Sable chance. Oh, God, that's right. I forgot we're going to have to deal with Lawler through this whole thing. That should be nice. That's going to be fun, isn't it? That is funny that Ric Flair could have shown up at this show. And I remember thinking to myself how cool that would be if I was like in the crowd and like Ric Flair showed up. But all I would have to do is wait 2 more years, almost 3, and I would be in the crowd in Charlotte when Ric Flair came back after Survivor Series. So I would get to see Ric Flair's return, just not here. Charlotte was a better city for that anyway. Oh, that's right. They did the mixed tag at WrestleMania. I couldn't imagine if Graves was like Lawler today. That would be unbearable. It's bad enough listening to him talk about Carmella. Oh, Sable has lost the bottoms. I like the woman production crew member on the outside laughing. She's great. I mean, the fans would go so nuts for this shit. I've seen a lot of this stuff live. I also saw the Tori and Sable bikini contest at like Judgment Day one year, one pay-per-view. I was there, and they go nuts, man. Hey, what's going on with my screen? Does y'all's Peacock look funny? Is there like a border all of a sudden around it? Oh, now it's gone. I have no idea what that was. Oh, there's Marrow. Well, like his shirt says, he's come to get some. How was Sable? I didn't even really realize that. Oh, Sable did lose. Whoa, daddy. But I didn't even realize what Sable is wearing. You can't wrestle in shoes like that, can you? How can you even... I mean, she's got like heels on. She's going to Sable bomb. Oh, she's going to tear it off Luna anyway. I'm trying to think when Sable was off TV. Oh, Jesus. Because she definitely expanded up top from her debut up until this point. It's probably sometime in 97. Probably right before she did that potato sack bit on Raw. They're both under the ring. JR, I don't reckon they're making friends. Lawler. Oh, Sable's got it all. Luna's undergarments. Her unmentionables. Buck naked. Wrestling was strange back then. I was more of a Sunny guy than a Sable guy, although at the end of the day, I didn't totally love either one of them. Remember when Sable sat front row in Nitro after she left WWE? That was crazy. Otherwise, nude Luna. Jesus, chill, Sable. JR. Right now is where they're going to hit the rewind button. Pause. Fast forward. Rewind. Yeah, if you're just joining us, we're watching the Sable and Luna Vachon evening gown match, which Sable lost and the crowd pops for. And then Sable would go on to Sable bomb Luna, drag her under the ring, and strip off her undergarments. Attitude Era. What a time. When is Sean not teasing big news? What's going on now? No, Vince is going to come out here too for a promo. He's got the Stooges. I'm not sure if they were full-blown Stooges yet. So we're going to get an Austin promo and a Vince promo. Something catastrophic. Yeah, to your melon, Vince.
Now that can mean anything. After all, this is the World Wrestling Federation and anything can happen. There's some sort of speculation, some sort of Stone Cold Steve Austin out of the WWF Championship here tonight.
So Vince is just going to say that he's not here to screw him. Okay. I loved when the Stooges would get real animated. They were so fun. Mr. McMahon. I'll get your coffee, Mr. McMahon.
At Moore County Hospital in Pinehurst, North Carolina.
Pinehurst. That's where Vince was born.
Mother had the pleasure of giving birth to me.
My mother had the pleasure of giving birth to me. I don't think it was a pleasure. Especially back in those days. Probably hurt like a motherfucker.
To be back home. People should be proud.
The pleasure.
As far as this conspiracy theory is concerned,
Ha, work texts as if I'm going to respond to that. I'm off.
the very thought that something like that would occur is beneath my dignity. And quite frankly,
I'm surprised that with this pay-per-view only being 2 hours and 42 minutes long, they still had time to basically eliminate a match and do an Austin Vince promo instead. And an evening gown match.
that was the response. However, let me say this about that.
Let me say this about that.
I will not be held responsible for what happens in this very ring here tonight. In no way will I accept any responsibility at all if Stone Cold screws Stone
Oh no, Stone Cold screws Stone Cold. Oh my God, they got an Austin and Vince severed head? Jesus, man. Oh, Briscoe's got the mic. Oh no, I thought Briscoe was gonna say some words. I'm like, yeah, let's let Jack talk. Or Jerry, excuse me.
As a matter of fact, there's more speculation on what's going to happen here as far as this catastrophe is concerned than the final episode of Seinfeld, for goodness sakes.
Oh yeah, the final episode of Seinfeld was coming up.
Gentlemen, I'll tell you something, as Vince McMahon leaves, there you see
Kevin Kelly. Y'all call the superstar line 1-900-737-4WWF. $1.49 a minute, but Canada has got to pay $2.49 a minute because it's more expensive up there. I don't know why.
just make sure that you're either 18 years of age or you have your parents' permission.
Yeah, Sonny's with LOD. She showed up with them at WrestleMania in that Battle Royal. I was actually another show I was at. I was in attendance at Raw the previous year to watch the New Age Outlaws win their first ever tag team championships, beating LOD. I was in the 4th row for Raw that night. I've seen some good shit, man.
Throughout Unforgiven.
Here they come. No, I knew. No, I'm not going to call somebody. I'll text them if they're lucky, but that's all you're getting, Road Dogg. DX was a perfect fit for them, man. They were teasing that in 97. Or maybe early 98 when Shawn was still in DX. They kind of teased that they might be joining.
It's a very special night here in the World Wrestling Federation. And so the New Age Outlaws, representing that D and rolling on that X, would like to give you all a special treat. So a personal friend of all of yours and a personal friend of mine has come out of retirement to coach myself and Mr. Ass to one more victory. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and give us a warm North
Oh, yeah.
to Dean Smith.
The former North Carolina basketball coach.
There was something else the Outlaws did with a blow-up doll that I remember got some controversy or heat or something. I can't remember the story. Dean Smith. Trying to think, but did Smith retire around this time? When the hell did Dean Smith retire? I've met Roy Williams a bunch of times, who did coach UNC when I was living in North Carolina. He would be he had a house in Wilmington right by where I worked, so he'd be seen around a lot.
Nation X proudly brings to you
Now, it was weird at this point where DX was, because I would argue they didn't really officially become baby faces until the next night when they invaded DX, because they're still heels here. Triple H and X-Pac in China did a bunch of heelish shit to get away with beating Owen. But then the next night, I think that's what put him over the top in terms of really being beloved by the audience. But they're still trying to pass off LOD as baby faces here, but man, they just weren't over. I mean, if LOD can't get an LOD pop in the Carolinas, I think it's over. I mean, they were still kind of over, but to me, it was like, I thought the original like WWE version of LOD's theme music was one of the best theme songs ever. And I hated that they got rid of it. I just didn't think a look, too much of a look change was going to help them much. I'm glad they weren't wearing the helmets here, but I guess LOD got this shot because they won that Battle Royal probably the previous month, right? Yeah, they teased the Outlaws joining DX, I think, the night that they beat up LOD, shaved Hawk's mohawk and all that shit. Or Animal's mohawk. Might have shaved them both. What's up, Chris? Thanks for the $2. This is your second favorite in your house behind Canadian Stampede. No kidding. This one actually isn't on my radar as one of the best, but even though I have a ton of memories of it. Fucking solid. 21,000 people. Yeah. That's right. That's the show I was at that JR's referencing there. It was this very state that they won. Yeah, exactly. Shortly after this, they would bring Draws into the group, and then they would start doing the deal with Hawk where he'd be showing up fucked up, and then he fell off the Tron. All that stupid shit they did. And there's Sunny. Not seeing her best days around this point. I think things were starting to get a little rough in her life, even if, if they weren't already. Next Sunday, no watch along, WWE fan. We've got Backlash. We got to do a Backlash review. So I'll be watching the pay-per-view, and we'll be up after the show to review it. Yeah, good point. This might have been the first night or the first pay-per-view where they didn't use the In Your House logo, because I think at No Way Out in 98 they might have still had it on there. Or no, I guess maybe that ended around Ground Zero-ish time. No, not really. It was there for Bad Blood. Yeah, I don't know when it officially went away, but this might have been the first show that you didn't get the little house logo thing. Check out the big double J letters up in the up at the top. I know Jarrett's out with Fuller at some point. Yeah, Chiro, we're doing great. Glad you're here. All good. Don't worry about being late. We forgive you. So far, so good on the stream. Last week's Backlash did have a bit of an issue that we worked through. It was fine, but didn't make the video really work for a replay, so I deleted it off the channel. Poor Road Dogg. I don't even know what the finish here is. I mean, I know obviously Outlaws hang out of the belts, but I don't know if we get a finish or a DQ or what. Oh, shit. Jesus. Not a great backdrop. I think Billy at this point is younger and much better shape than Hawk. Hawk looks a little less than Hawk. Oh my God, he doesn't even have the strength to lift him here. This is yeah, JR was good. Perspiration is what it was. Mike, I was on the hard cam side, basically right above the hard cam, but on the level above. I did not have great seats for this. We were way up high. I'd say maybe midway up the top level, I think, is where we were. Most shows after this, I had great seats. I was either on the floor or on the first level or in some cases even ringside. But we were way up there for this one. But we also went to 4 shows in a row. House show the night before, here the pay-per-view, and then Raw the next night and the Raw taping on Tuesday. So we were probably playing it as cost-effective as possible. Those were marathon weekends, man. So fun. Inferno match.
Undertaker and his brother Kane, but what's going to happen? Vince McMahon sitting out here. Yeah, the power slam. That'll be 1, 2. Well, that would have been all. You got to think. And I think the Road Dogg thought that as well.
Uh-oh, it's breaking down.
Hawk just waylaying, putting knots on old.
Ooh.
Get to know each other a little bit better.
Crowd's a little on the dead side. Oh, they're going for Doomsday here. Billy's going to stop this. Oh, chop block. It's dangerous with someone on your shoulders.
Road Dogg was in position to get put away with the devastation device. Got his leg taken out from under him, didn't he? Well, that knee's a delicate thing. A lot of injuries. That's a different part of the anatomy in this game.
Yeah, I think what you want to try to do if you like get chop blocked is not have your leg planted. But if you got somebody on your shoulders, wouldn't you kind of have to have your shit planted?
Politely coming in and focusing right on that injured knee. That's right. They found the weakness and they're going to go after it. You paint a bullseye on that knee now.
Yeah, LOD was aging around this time. It was sad to see. I saw them pretty much in their original form for the last time, you know, that night that they lost the titles. So in a lot of ways, I was there for the birth of one of the best teams in WWE history in the Outlaws. I was also there for the death of one of the best teams as well. Or the beginning of the death. Yeah, so basically I'm just right above the camera you're looking at now, you know, the one in front of the ring. But above it and just a little bit off to the left, just a hair. I do need to dig out my wrestling pictures and just try to grab what I can. They just look so bad. I have I'd say a box about this big, just loaded with pictures that I developed. But back in those days, you know, I didn't have a really nice camera, so I would just buy a bunch of the disposable ones at CVS or whatever. But you can't, it's not like now where you can take a picture and see what you took. So one time I went to a show and took every single picture, the entire camera roll, with my finger over the lens. And all you see is just my white finger in every fucking shot. And other times you can see like a portion of my finger, or the lighting is just bad. It's just not, lighting just sucks. And so it's really hazy. It's hard to see. It's foggy. But I do have a ton of pictures, so I should bust them out and share what I have. But none of it's very, I would have shared it years ago if I thought it was worth sharing. But next time I'm unpacking my closet, I'll bust them out. I might have a small folder here. Let me see if I have something from this show. Distressed look. You got that right.
These guys were to win the titles, she'd be locked in.
Yeah, I probably do have some. I just have no idea.
Outlaws now tagging.
I cannot express the amount of folders upon folders upon folders I have of crap.
Barely able to stand. And he is in a bad, bad spot, is Animal. As far from his corner as he can possibly be. And here comes Hawk. That's not really going to do his partner any good, quite frankly. That's a dumb thing to do. I don't know about
That's a dumb thing to do.
an emotional thing that kick him right now. Look at this. Ooh. The Outlaws got a mean streak. There's no doubt about that. They are the reigning WWF Tag Team Champions. And they are members of DX, so what else do you expect? Well, they certainly are. We've already seen DX really take advantage of a situation with Owen Hart earlier. Ooh.
Yeah, I got no idea where any of that stuff would be, but it would be cool if I could find it.
First down, that goes Animal. And again, the cockiness may cost, however, the Outlaws cover. And Animal, there was no kick out. He just got a shoulder up. He wasn't able to.
Oh, no.
And power
Y'all. Who's that? Handsome Devil right there. That is probably 1997 or 8, that picture. Good looking guy. I don't know where the hell that picture is taken, but I'm wearing an Austin 316 shirt. Look at that young Greg. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Well, that's the only thing I found when I was looking for some of those wrestling pictures, but I've got some stuff I can share. Ooh. I love the shimmy he did after. Oh, Matthew, you might be right about that. I'm not even sure of the finish. I don't know what they do here. That's been the case for a lot of these watch-alongs lately, is I've kind of forgotten, for the most part, what happens on these shows. So a lot of it is kind of like watching for the first time. Even if I was at the show, I don't remember exactly what went down. Oh, yikes. All right, we got a double hot. Oh, shit. That was a pretty good kick by Hawk, actually. Oh, check it out. Here's something else you guys might like. Oh, I thought that might have been the finish right there. So, the Raw, the next night. Oh, that's terrible looking German. Oh, yeah, all the shoulders were down. Actually, Hawks looked like he was up. This is my ticket from the next night. Oh, they're even announcing him as the new champions? This is a horseshit. No way. Okay, see, Doan's already talking fake. So it's like Ty goes to the runner type of thing? Oh, no. I thought Hawk's shoulder was actually up, to be honest. So, yeah, the next night is when they do the DX invasion of Nitro. And there's my ticket from that night. So I had pretty decent seats. I can't see the price on it. $19. Wow. Yeah, I want to see the replay of this myself. Oh, all of DX is out there in full force. Oh! Hawk knocked him out. Oh, they're going to doomsday him? Yes. Yeah, he got screwed. Jesus, look at Doan. Oh, hey, he took it okay. Oversold it a little bit, but... Yeah, Michael, pretty much tomorrow night is when DX, the next night is when DX would turn face. They would invade Nitro, and you're got to be babyface after that. That's a fucking awesome thing to do. So I'd say by that point, there was no turning back. They were so over. And Rock was bubbling too. I mean, WWE was about to have 3 hugely over babyface acts with the audience. And Rock, Austin, and DX. And they were all together, hitting their stride at the same time. Fucking insane. So insane that that was all happening. Gurria with the fucking stretcher. Let the professionals handle this. Are we finally going to show the replay? We haven't seen one yet. They're probably hesitant to show it because Hawk's shoulder was fucking up. I still think they got screwed bad on that one. They're stretching him out.
I'm sure it's not what McMahon was talking about, but this is awful. Let's take one more look, ladies and gentlemen, of the replay here, and look where the referee was.
Show the hard cam, because that's where you can see Hawk's shoulder clearly off the mat. Referee is not in position to see 2 shoulders. He's in the position to see 1. That's one of the dumbest finishes I've ever seen. At least Timmy White's there to hold shit together, you know? Look at Dave Hebner out there. Good to see him. Yeah, King. Just chill, dude. Fucking relax, bro. Oh, we got a concert now. Boy, they had a lot of time to do some not wrestling stuff back then, didn't they? And I don't remember when exactly it happened, but I know that Jarrett had just recently turned back into this gimmick after coming in weirdly in late 97 and doing that whole weird thing. Ugh. I guarantee you I was in the shitter when this was happening. I was definitely taking a piss and getting myself a snack and maybe a nice, frosty, delicious brew. One thing I'm not doing is sitting in my seat listening to whoever these guys are. Movie has time for this. Ding. Am I okay? Yeah, I think so. Ain't he great? I thought it was a pretty wise decision, actually, when he kind of went back to doing this. Because I didn't feel like what he was... This never really clicked with me either, honestly, but I didn't really like Jarrett's gimmick when he came back in 97. I was like, he should have just picked up with his country music shit. Pick back up with that again.
Her teeth were stained, but her heart was pure.
Double J, are you ready? I'll tell you who's not ready. Greg. I can't listen to this. No. Oh, he's dancing? Look at that guy dance. It looks like me after one too many edibles. All right, let's turn this down just in case this is some copyrighted bullshit. I would be pissed if... sorry, you know that dry heave thing that you sometimes do when something's real gross? Sorry, not my fault. It's country music's fault. Sorry. Don't blame me here. I'll just turn it down. Which it's even funnier on mute. I wish we could fast forward, y'all, but we can't. The timer just does what it does, so we have to follow it. JJ Leg, man, appreciate the $5. Thank you for sending me the super chat because it gives me something to read while this shit's playing. What's up, Greg? Sorry I'm late, but my cat and I are here watching now. Hope app as well. Hope all is well, probably. Everything is well. Thank you so much, JJ, for being here. Appreciate it as always. You're joining us at an interesting time because Double J is rocking out with, I forget again what the name of these guys are. And then we got a couple of matches left, probably Inferno and main event, maybe something else. Glad you are here. Jeez. Oh, Jarrett's really singing here? See, I've seen some great things live, and I've seen some not so great things live. This will fall into the Kennel from Hell category of things I've had to sit through and witness in person. This is right up there. I don't even remember this. I mean, I kind of do. Because I know Jarrett did something on the show. I just didn't know he was singing with these dudes. Oh, shit. Oh, he's doing the Jeff Jarrett strut. I also want to say I might have met these dudes, actually, now that I think about it. They might have been somewhere, too. Oh, what was it? Maybe they were in one of those restaurants. I don't remember, but something's trying to spark in my brain. It's too deep. It's too buried. My God, what a time. I'll take Master P performing in WCW than this. Yeah, me too. Even Kiss. I don't even like Kiss, but I'll take Kiss over this. Yeah, Victor, good point. They needed to do something. I think we mentioned, did I mention that earlier? It was in my head. I thought maybe the Jarrett thing would be the in-between to set up the Inferno match. I just didn't remember what Double J did. I forgot that he sang. But shit, you could have also done that Vince and Austin promo up here if you wanted and while you set the stuff up. I don't know, but whatever. It's all good. They're obviously putting the shit together. Ain't I great? Not really, Double J. Did you hear Jim Ross? He just can't hear you. Oh no, Blackman's here. What's up, Nick? Oh. Tennessee Lee. For a minute there, I thought my face was not on the screen, but it is. I think you just mean in general. Poor Blackman, just getting worked over. All right, well, at least we got a little wrestling angle in the middle of this country music song. It's not a total loss. You know what would have been cool? I wonder if they... I don't think they could have gotten away with it, though. But, like, what if Steve Blackman had, like, a faction and they were all wrestled under masks, like the Vianos? And their faction would be called the Lethal Weapons, and you'd have Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3. and Lethal Weapon 4. That would be awesome. Why did they never do that? Fucking bring in Danny Glover. Manage him. Blackman got honky-tonked. Yeah, we want Flair chants. I remember the We Want Flair chants. That's one thing I do remember about this show, is participating in them. Hmm.
Tennessee means business, and so does Double J. Double J seizing the moment with Blackman. All I figured helpless. Blackman just didn't like country music. Double J is going to make a fan out of it yet. I'll tell you one thing. I was again very surprised at Double J's singing ability. It was very good, quite frankly. But there's going to be heck to pay as far as
Oh, shit.
Double J and Blackman are concerned. Okay, let's get ready for it, JR. The Inferno match, right?
The Inferno match.
For you to spontaneously combust out here sitting next to me, but we're going to have some serious combustion. So let's get ready for it. Here. Are you ready? Making light of this? Huh?
Here it is.
This is not humor. Miltonboro, Henny Youngman. What do you mean? This is a little bit serious. I know. Somebody's going to catch on fire, and I think it's going to be the Undertaker.
This idiot has got marshmallows and a hot dog. Look at this thing.
Between two brothers with a fiery past. Take a look.
I guess that's just some propane, I guess. Jesus.
The Undertaker was leading a life of quiet desperation. The reemergence of his brother fueled the
This was quite weird. I mean, I didn't know. My seat for this was pretty interesting because since I was so high up, I could see around the whole ring. Like, I could see kind of how it was working. And from my vantage point where I was sitting over to the right, on the far side of the ring, past like where the Spanish announce table would be, there was a little like thing set up there. And I remember the person in the corner, you could watch them. They were basically, you know, feeding gas to it every time there was a bump. So you would see that on the screen too, you know, when you do it, but you could actually see the person in charge of it hitting it. I could see that from my seat all the way up there. And I was like, this is really weird. I was like, WWE's getting crazy. I mean, just a few years before this, I thought like a coffin match, a casket match was crazy enough. I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts. Now they're surrounding the ring in fire. What's next? Stack 3 cages on top of each other? Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. And then shortly after this, they would kind of start putting them together. That summer, Taker would go heel and shit would start getting weird in the next few months. They were just getting started here, man. Yeah, you'd think ECW would have tried something like this. It would have been hard to do, though. You'd have to spend some money to get it done right, although they might not have cared about doing it right. They could have figured something out. But, I mean, if you want to do it right and safe, this setup, you know, some sort of propane or gas-fed system where you can kind of control it is a lot better than dealing with gasoline and lighter fluid and shit like that. But I'm sure it was hot as hell to be wrestling in there, and both guys already wrestle in pretty much full gear. So I'm sure it was uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, they did the spot where he lit the guy on fire. And I don't know how this is going to look on screen here. Another thing I remember from my seat was whatever happened, Kane probably took a chair shot or whatever, and I'm sure the camera will cut away from him, but you could see him crawl under the ring for a couple of minutes, like his feet were under there. They might have showed that on camera. I don't remember. But he clearly went under there to put whatever the hell was on his arm to gimmick it so he could catch it on fire. And he was under there for a while. And then when he came back out, even before it got lit on fire, you could see it. So like from my seat, I could see this clear, looked like a plastic bag around Kane's arm, and then that lit on fire. So they didn't hide it very well. But I guess all things considered, they did okay, because when you think about the way to win this match is to set the dude on fire, how are you going to do that? So I do remember one of the things that we speculated, me and my buddy, is that Kane would be full, like his, you know how he had the one sleeve off, that he would be fully clothed. And we both thought that he would wear like a full suit, because we figured Kane would have to lose, and he'd probably wear a full suit to where it could catch fire and protect him or something. So when he came out with only one, I remember thinking, I'm like, oh shit, he's got his full on thing on. So, or his normal gear. So I thought for sure he'd look slightly off just to set it up. But being a 20-year-old kid trying to think of how are they going to do this, man, was pretty funny. No, he didn't have the big boom yet with the pyro. God, I've seen Undertaker and Kane wrestle twice on pay-per-view. I watched them wrestle at SummerSlam 2000. That match sucked. So I think I've seen them twice, maybe even another time. Oh yeah, Vader returns in this. I do remember. Oh, well, Taker's making his 20-minute long entrance. I'm going to go grab another cold one. Be back in a second. Right. Taker is not even through the entranceway yet. Jesus. I went all the way to the fridge. Yeah, Undertaker would get roasted by his own damn pyro just a few years after this. I don't even remember if, like, in the ring, this match is any good. I mean, it's mostly just for the effects. They're not going crazy with their offense or their bumps or anything. And we've still got a little bit less than an hour left in the show. Look at Paul Bearer. Taker. Taking his time. Taker was always over. Bringing the lights up, always got a pop. I don't know why Taker added the black teardrop. I never liked it. He didn't keep it for very long. He still has it here. but I think it would fade out. I think. I'm not sure.
Thanks to the Undertaker. Now the tables are going to be turned, or so Paul Bearer says.
All right, lights are kind of down, and there it goes. They lit it.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
And I think the flames did not come off that high off of the burners, but with the right camera angle, it really did. Especially when see how low they are. They would do a lot of shots from down there. It would look really good. And the funny thing is, these guys too are like 300 pounds. So even if you take a bump over onto that, you'll probably get burned because it's hot, but you're not going to like burst into flames because as soon as you hit that and it falls, it's probably just going to go out anyway. I don't know.
Undertaker hammering away, and Kane is still standing.
It'll probably put the flames out, and then the propane will just continue to spew out, but you won't be burning up. Oh wow, we got our first look at the flames. Imagine all the run-throughs for this, Jesus, and them just figuring this shit out. I wonder if they booked the match before they knew if they could do it or not. I do remember the crowd being a little quiet for it. It wasn't as much of a dud as like Undertaker versus Undertaker at SummerSlam, but it was a little bit odd to be watching. But they went on to do a lot of Inferno matches. Oh, I thought it was awesome when I realized that they were going to be flaming them up every time there was a bump. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It was also a little weird, but cool. But like I said earlier, I could see the dude controlling the thing in the corner and timing it with the bumps. And I always thought, I don't know, from my vantage point, it always looked like it was Gerald Briscoe to me. And you'd think that you would have to have somebody, who is perhaps a wrestler or aware of like how bumps are timed and stuff, instead of just somebody who knows nothing about wrestling. They might not know exactly when to time the flames, where Briscoe probably knows the mannerisms and the move sets of both guys. So when they're setting up for a move, he knows exactly when to press the button. So I think Briscoe was there to do, but I think there was like somebody else with him, but I think Briscoe was the one timing it. That was my takeaway from my seat. Yeah, so the object here is to burn your brother. I don't recall if we get any over-the-top rope bumps onto this thing. They might tag it a little bit. I don't think they land directly on it, though. I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be hot as hell for the announcers, too. Shit, it's right in front of them. Luckily for me, I was so far away. didn't feel any heat from this. Yeah, Alan, I was pretty high up for these for this one. My seats weren't really affected by this heat. Oof. Big chair shot. Man, if there's ever a time you could have probably protected yourself a little better during a chair shot, it was that, with all the other distraction of the flames. Think about how hot Taker and Kane have got to be. I mean, you're surrounded by it. It's fucking convection oven. Well, yes, you might need it on top, but still, it's got to be hot as hell. You think Kane could be the mayor of some place? You crazy. Mayor of Freaktown, sure. Look at Paul Bearer. I know he's hot. He's a big fella, and he's wearing a damn suit. That is, he's got to be quite moist under there. For this match, yeah, they dimmed the lights in the whole arena, so it was pretty dark. Pay-per-views and TVs were always bright. House shows were always dark. Because back in the day, I think WWE has spiced up their live event production a little bit, but man, house shows used to suck back in the day because it would be so bare bones. I mean, it would just be the ring and a little entranceway, no addition, no banners, no banners. They would never do banners. They would just use the house audio speakers. So they would use the theme music, but they would just use the shit and the, that was available there. And you couldn't even hear, like when I would go to a house show and Austin would wrestle, you couldn't even hear his theme music. It was basically like he was coming out like Bruno back in the day, just walking, and all you heard was the audience, because the audience drowned out the shitty house speakers that the arena uses. But for TVs and pay-per-views, WWE brings their own shit, and they fucking wire the whole building up like a goddamn rock concert and blast the shit out to you. But the house shows sucked in terms of music. You couldn't even hear it. So that's one thing I always didn't like about the house shows, is it felt like there was none of that stuff at all. Was you could never experience it. I mean, you could kind of hear the music, but not really. It was very faint. JR goes, I'm sweating like crazy out here. Lawler says his roll on is rolled off. Sometimes Lawler can still get a small chuckle out of me, even though I hate him. Oh, yeah, definitely no Titantron videos, no nothing. They had no Tron of any kind at house shows. They were very, very basic. But and a lot of times could be fun, though. They would still have some fun on house shows. I've told the story before how I injured my elbow in a match with Rock and Austin. It was like a no-holds or falls count anywhere match, and they were all over the arena. We were right on the aisle, and Rock got tossed right into the barricade, and it just slammed right into my elbow. Hurt like shit. And then Austin clotheslined Rock over the barricade, and he landed in my lap. That was fun stuff. So Lawler's begging for Kane to roll Taker into the flames and cook him so he can get this match over with. Yeah. That was a little stupid. They would start desecrating parents, and then later they would get even crazier, right? They'd bring the coffins to Raw, and like you get choke slammed in them or something. Ugh. Choke slam to Kane. At some point, they got to get out of the ring, so. Oh. Oh, both guys are down. 1 second. Sorry, I'm back. Just in time for their setting up for some sort of spot here. Oh, he missed the big diving clothesline from Taker. Yeah, it was Taker that got choke slammed into his parents' coffin, right? But that would come later on in the year, right? I don't think that was prior to this. It might have been. But pretty sure that was later on when they would get really crazy. But it might have already happened. I don't know. Oh, that was in the build for it was in the build for this match. Jesus. Yeah, I think my 98 timeline is starting to be a little off here. Kane crotched. Taker going up top. Superplex into the flames. This will be good. Nice. I'm surprised WWE had them go so long here. I don't know what the official match time on this was, but shit, man. Oh, no, this was only 16 minutes. All right. I was thinking this was like a 30-minute match or something. All right. 16 minutes isn't bad. Oh, yeah, Briscoe is there. No wonder I thought Briscoe was there. I could see his ass, though. So that's definitely where they were controlling the flames, is Briscoe and that dude. Look at him. Look at that guy's... Look at the setup. I've never even seen that before. This must be where Vader comes. Oh, yeah, he's going to do the dive. Yes. There he is. Crowd pop for Vader. Vader no selling. Yeah, Kane had injured Vader a couple months before this. Now Taker should do his thing. This is pretty cool. Diving over the flames. Oh, they should have had the flames come up like a split second earlier. Come on, Briscoe. They would use that shot over and over again. Taker diving over the flames. Now, this has we got to be near where they're doing a finish here. Kane, I'm pretty sure Kane disappears or something for a second. Look at Bear. Oh, yeah, this has got to be it. So I think Kane like goes under the ring or something. Now, I think while this is going on, Kane's inching more in there to get whatever the hell they need to do on his arm, because I could see all that shit from my seat. And for dumb little marks like us, we were calling that shit in our seats. We're like, Kane's putting something on. He's doing something under the ring there that's going to... Oh, that's right. This takes a while too, because I think Taker gets to him and messes him up. Paul Bearer gets it. All that time goes by while they're prepping Kane. Oh, Jesus. Ooh. Drum to the head of Paul Bearer. That's so sad. Damn. Poor Paul Bearer. Damn, all this time's going by. Oh, Paul Bear's busted open. I wonder if he blade or he got that hard way. There was all sorts of metal shit all over that drum. And so is Kane going to try to do something here to him first? Nope, he's got a chair. See, you can see that on his arm already. And then there he falls into it. Up, just like that. Like he holds his arm in there for so long. That's so fucking hokey. All right, I'm back. Somebody fucking hose off Isaac Yankem. And that's the finish. Yeah, I'm not even a giant fan of that match, to be honest. I just thought the Inferno match was just a little bit overboard, and it was going to be hard to do, considering what the rules are. Now, if you just have a match, maybe they would do this in later years. Maybe does the Inferno match change? Do Inferno matches just become a match inside of the Ring of Fire, where you don't necessarily have to light the dude? They must have, right? And his teardrop is running. How sweaty. I think they were all pretty damn sweaty, Alan, considering this match. I would be. All right, final match, main event. They got to clean all this shit up and get to Austin and Foley, or Dude Love. Man, you guys are going to have to help me because I don't know. Yeah, I do like that overhead shot. That's good stuff. And this did look cool from my seat when Taker was celebrating in the lights. You got the purple lights and the flames. It was a pretty cool visual. And I do know I have some photos of that. I like Dude Love's theme song too. I used to rock out to that on WWF Volume 2 all the time. Back in the day. I also liked underrated Mankind's piano outro. I always liked too. Lawler checking his chest hair. God, close your shit up, Lawler. No more of those matches, says Lawler. That in itself is a huge story. That it is. Nope, we're going to have to get the whole video package again.
If Austin becomes WWF champion as we know him now, that would be a public relations corporate nightmare.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, probably the best rivalry of all time, but McMahon's logic behind it didn't make much sense to me. It would be a public relations nightmare. It should be a public relations nightmare just for him to be there, whether he's champion or not, if he's really that bad as you say he is. What's the difference? Is he your fucking champion or not? He's still there on your TV show. And Shawn was 100 times worse because he walked all over Vince, made him look like a chump a bunch of times in front of the boys, and got away with murder. And one of the most childish and most immature guys that have ever been in the business, and Vince was okay with that. And then he tore the suit off. And he whacked Vince in the balls. And this was the night. This was the night they finally won in the ratings over WCW, because people who probably were like kind of flipping back and forth and would normally just stay on Nitro saw this and they're like, what the fuck am I watching? And stayed with that. You know, just the sight of Vince in the ring, like wrestling, and the way they built to it all night. And they finally won. And it was so weird. That was so random for Dude Love to come out there. He had just had the run as Cactus Jack with Terry Funk.
The only thing more confusing than the reason why Dude Love attacked Stone Cold was the sudden announcement that Dude was now the #1 contender for the title.
But if you ask Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Met Mick Foley at a convenience store during his Dude Love gimmick days. It was probably the same weekend, or maybe it would have been back in '97, one of those two runs. And he was so cool. And I did the knee dance thing as he was driving away, and he gave me the toothless thumbs up. We were goofy kids back then, man. Doesn't Vince look like cross-eyed right there or something? Yeah, see, they're even referencing Survivor Series here.
I humbly apologize, and I'm sorry for the misunderstanding and for the problems that my remarks may have caused. Is that what you wanted?
Vince making JR apologize.
Vince, you're going to get your ass whipped in front of the world, and that's all I've got to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, scheduled for one fall, is
Love the Fink.
Wrestling Federation Championship.
I did like Dude Love's theme music. It was perfect. Fit him perfectly. Dude Love. They would get pretty nuts at the next pay-per-view, man. Over the Edge 98 was crazy. They had the cars out there and everything. That was fun stuff. We're going to review that next month. This month, excuse me. It's May already. I keep forgetting it. May 1st. You switched to WWF when Jericho debuted. That's interesting, Matthew. That's cool. I really think WCW had more of the casuals at that time during the beginning and the height of the NWO, before Austin really got a lot of steam going. Just Nitro was over with everybody, you know, back then. Where I think more of the hardcore fans were sticking more with WWE because I think they felt like there was just really more to them at the end of the day, but WCW just had it going on at the time. The casual fans love the NWO. Goldberg, same thing, man. God. Him and Austin were getting over right at the same time. Waiting for Austin. It was awesome how many times I've seen the Austin entrance during this time period. I'm like, I think I've experienced the loudest pops in wrestling. Like, that's cool. Especially in these parts of the country. He was so over. Here comes the champ with that ugly ass belt. I mean, it looks natural now because it's been so many years that that belt fits. It looks like it fits Austin, but at the time, that was a very strange sight to see. This belt did not look right to me. I did not like it. I was like, this thing is ugly as shit. And why would you get rid of a perfectly beautiful belt that has so much history already and go with this thing? Now you look back, it doesn't look so bad. A lot of fans love that title. But at the time, it was a very jarring transition. And something that I did not like. This is probably the biggest Mick Foley match that I've seen live, is this one. Ooh. Yeah, Smoking Skull was a better belt, and I think the word was that Austin did not like the new belt and just wanted something else, and they made him custom one. So Austin started that whole custom title thing, and that was something else that I found very weird. Modern fans today probably don't think the idea of a custom title is weird at all. But back then, you know, that was something... Well, back in the day, Moolah used to have her picture on the title. But that was about the closest thing, I suppose, to a custom. But for a guy to have his own fucking belt made with his name all over it was weird to me. And then Cena did it with the spinner, and ugh. He's got his hair frosted. That's right. Foley did get his hair frosted. He got his teeth put in. One of my good friends who went to some shows back with me in the day, and she, at this time, used to say how handsome she thought Mick Foley was. She was like, he is really a good-looking guy. And I was like, for real? And she goes, oh, yeah, like, he's handsome. And I was like, wow, I never knew that. Mick Foley's wife was gorgeous. Colette's gorgeous. I just thought it was like he's just a kind-hearted and he's got a good personality. She's like, no, he's good-looking. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's good to know. Foley's the best. She said that to me the first time. She actually watched Wrestling with Shadows. And that was the first... I think she knew who Mankind was and then saw him without his mask. And I remember her saying that. And from then on, I was like, look at Vic Foley go. And plus, if this is probably also the beginning of Foley, big tackle, kind of starting to lose it. After he would disappoint Vince McMahon here, he would start to go nutty by the time we got to the end of this year. He's been completely manipulated by Vince. Giving him the hardcore title, and, and Vince, he thinks Vince wants him to win the Survivor Series tournament. He fucks him over. There's that weird border thing again. Yeah, they would fight all into this shit at the next pay-per-view, man. Yeah, they're back up on stage. Everybody's liked... Oh, man, Oh, my God. Foley. I don't know why he always insists on taking concrete bumps. I'm amazed and grateful that Foley really does seem to have most of his faculties still with him. Obviously, he's getting older and is going to slow down, even mentally to a degree. But in terms of like CTE-related stuff, I think he's all right, I could obviously change, but... Like, he tore himself up. Oh, my God. Ugh. And some of the bumps you just wonder, like, you think are needless. I'm like, did you need to do that one? But Foley just did it, man. Yeah. Wait 2 months from now and see what happens. I've got a fun memory about King of the Ring 98 as well. I've told it a million times. I decided, because I'd recently got a full-time salary position job, and so I decided to go out and buy myself a big screen TV, like one of those big ones on wheels and everything. I bought a big Oak Entertainment Center to go with it. And I bought it about a week before King of the Ring. And it got delivered to my house, and that was the first pay-per-view I ever watched on it. So going from a 19-inch little Magnavox piece of shit to this 50-inch, at the time, pretty modern TV, to see Foley's bump in that degree, like on that huge screen, blew my mind at the time. It was crazy. It was so crazy. Nowadays, people have 70-inch TVs hanging in their wall like it's nothing. But back then, this was different times. So to get a TV that was 50 inches, I felt like very excited to be watching wrestling on that. It was awesome. So every month, it was always pay-per-views at my house because I had the fucking bomb-ass TV. I think I paid like $1,800 for, or $2,000 for, something like that, which at that time is nuts. I kept that thing until about a year before I moved to California, and I gave it away. Just gave it to a guy. I'm like, you can have this thing. He's like, for real? I'm like, it's yours. Take it. He was stoked. I'm like, it's 2008. This fucking obsolete TV. Austin getting peppered. It was pretty trippy that we're having, Foley and Austin main event of pay-per-view. This was weird because they did just really launch Foley right into this after their brief run with the tag titles with him and Funk. Austin making his comeback here. I mean, at some point, we know we get Vince out. So basically, from my seat, when Vince takes that chair shot later on, I got a pretty good view of that because I'm right up top looking at there, and it's on the side, the near side close to me. And it looked like it was kind of a glancing blow on Vince, but he still got him pretty good. Crowd popped hard when Vince went down. I just love this idea that the company has not had worse champions than Steve Austin in the past. Oh my God, did you see that? Oh, poor Mike Chioda. Austin spit right in his face, I think by accident. I think Austin had his eyes closed and he just spit, but Chioda happened to be right there. Caught him right in the face. Here comes Vince with the Stooges. Stooge 1 and Stooge 2. Mr. McMahon, I already did the Inferno match. I know my way around this ring. If you need any coffee, I will get that. I don't think that's a very good impression. Look at Vince looking over at Mark Eaton. Oh, my God. He's making it so obvious. Like, at least in Survivor Series, it was just more perplexing. Like, what the fuck is he doing out there? Oh, yeah, Austin sees him. Look out. Here comes Foley from behind. I don't remember if Foley like goes for the sharpshooter here or something like that. He should. It is funny how Austin would kind of give Foley a little thank you back, what, SummerSlam, right? The next year when he didn't want Triple H to beat him and he let Foley win instead. After this series of matches these guys had, and dude loved putting him over. He gets the belt for one night. See, why doesn't Austin just take out Vince right now? Yeah, look at that. They're doing a replay of the eye contact. I love that. Look at these guys. A little nod. Mark Eaton, you got a death wish? Didn't Austin drug him in the ring earlier on in the show? And basically just threatened to kill the poor guy. Look at Vince. Ice cold cans of whoop ass. I think this was before Austin was doing the beer celebrations. I don't think he was quite doing that yet. It is kind of a trip seeing those SCU shirts now. I had one, actually. I had all the Austin shirts. I bought the Other Side Jackass one, and I had an SCU one as well. But it's funny seeing that now. And I've always loved the classic original Austin 316, which I still have the very same one that I mailed away for. Back then, you had to physically write out a check, mail it in, and then they had to mail the shirt to you. The whole process took forever. But it finally came, and I still have it. I was wearing it in that picture I showed earlier. Uh-oh. Vince. Austin's just going to chase him away. That's what Brett should have done at Survivor Series. Here comes Foley. Dude, love. That was definitely a setup. Austin walked right into that heel trap. Hey, I think I see myself up there. Yep. You're right, John. Foley. Saying Foley went above and beyond would be probably the biggest understatement of the century. He went way more than above and beyond. Oh, no. Please don't suplex Foley over. He is. Nope, he's not. Who's going in? Oh, nice. Okay. Phew. I did not want Foley to take some superplex off onto the floor. I'm like, no. Oh, Michael, your SU was your first. I really liked the simple shirts. That's why I liked the classic NWO. I thought the NWO shirt was awesome, and I had one of those too. And I think the Austin 316 and the NWO shirt were the coolest looking wrestling shirts at the time. And I believe they were the only two at the time that I owned. No, I started getting a few more in 98, but early in 97, those were the only two. I also bought the Brian Pillman Memorial Tribute t-shirt, and I wish I still have that. It got lost, but I used to wear it to shows all the time and got compliments on it all the time because they weren't available at the merch stands. You had to, like, mail away for that special. So I would always get props on the shirt whenever I wore it. We had 21,000 people popping for an abdominal stretch in a WWE title match. I love that. Probably because Vince was out there threatening, but still. Vince, that no-good billionaire. All right. Now, something will eventually go on here with the chair and Vince's skull. I think Foley's going to get his legs backdropped into the steps, right? He loves this spot. Oh, God, he got his tailbone and his legs. Oh, Jesus. Where is Foley going? That is hilarious. He's kind of turning into Cactus Jack there, just doing whatever. Oh, buried alive, rock bottom in that match. First time celebrated with drinking. He might have done it a few times before, like in the ring, not before a match or during a promo or something. I was trying to remember when beer started being tossed in the ring after victories. I know by the time they got to WrestleMania the next year, I was there for 15 because he was pouring beer all over Vince. But I don't remember. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah, after SummerSlam, after he beat Taker, he didn't celebrate with beer. And then they did the title weirdness, and then The Rock would be champ. Sweet shin music. It is kind of funny how the month before he's wrestling Shawn, and now he's wrestling the Shawn wannabe. Going for nope. Oh yeah, of course we got to get the ref bump. Of course we have to get that. Austin moving in on Foley. And here's the stunner. Nope. Foley blocks it. Mandible claw. No referee. Now here's where Vince could ring the bell, I guess, if he wanted to. Vince is poised. Austin fighting out of it. Piston-like right hands. Oh, I don't know if that was a low blow. Yeah, low blow. Oh, Vince is in the ring. Oh, he's trying to wake up the referee. Now, Foley's got the claw. He's got the mandible claw. So basically, he has Austin beat. So as the owner, I don't know why Vince feels like he needs the referee. If he can just ring the bell himself. Austin getting up. Oh, here they go. Now they're outside. Backdrop to Foley over the top. Ref bump cliche. Ding. Oh, yeah. Austin's going to try to wrestle, or Vince is going to try to wrestle away from Austin. I think Austin will try to swing for Foley. Oh, nope. What a disadvantage for Austin. He's got to wrestle somebody and his boss. Foley, more face shots to the chair shots to the face, I should say. Here we go. Knocked Vince right out. I had a great shot of that from my seat. Crowd loved that. Because we'd seen, a couple of stunners. We'd seen like 2 stunners on Vince, but that was the first bigger offense on Vince, or assault on Vince. We got no referee for this thing. Now Austin just counts himself. And his music plays. That counts, I guess. And he overcomes. So that's right. The next month at Over the Edge, Vince would really stack the deck. He'd do like the timekeeper, it was Patterson, and ring announcer Briscoe, maybe vice versa. And he would be the referee. And that Austin would get somebody in his corner, which I think turned out to be Undertaker. That's how that went down. Poor Vince. And Austin retains in his first title defense, sort of, against Dude Love. They would run it back, like we said, at Over the Edge. And then he would move on to that King of the Ring 98 match with Kane, where he'd drop the title, win it back. And then into his Highway to Hell program with The Undertaker. Crazy time, man. Crazy time. Staring down Vince. Oh, fun. Unforgiven. 1998 in the books. Another fun one, y'all. Looks like we do have like 5 minutes left in the show. Does he go back and fuck Vince up, or this is legit the end? Oh, they're just going to show a lot of replays. Poor Vince. Yeah, well, this was a fun time, guys. I appreciate y'all being here. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up since they're only going to show replays. But thanks again. We will start looking at what we're going to do for the month of May in terms of watch-alongs next week, of course. And no watch-along because it's Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash. So we will be up here to review that. And as of right now, I'm probably planning to be with you again maybe on Tuesday afternoon, I think, possibly. And we'll bust out some Backlash predictions, as they tend to Vince McMahon. But we know what happens here, nothing else. Pay-per-view just goes off the air with them trying to wake up poor Vince McMahon. Oh, man. Fun as always, guys. Well, Ray Frand, I could do Over the Edge, but I think I'm going to do a review on that. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot he lost. Here I'm trying to sign off the stream, and I forgot about the best fucking part. That I didn't even realize Austin lost this. I'm looking at the results. Yeah, Dude Love defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin by disqualification. You guys are probably laughing at me this whole time. Greg thinks Austin retained because his 3 count counts. He did hit Vince, damn. So Dude Love gets the win. So the most over guy in wrestling after winning the title loses 2 out of his first 3 title match pay-per-view main events? He'd lose this one and he'd lose to Kane. Wow. Well, he still felt like the winner because he got to celebrate, but Vince got the last laugh at the end of the day. That's hilarious. I'm so glad. that I swerved myself. Greg worked himself into a swerve. Is that how it goes? Something like that? Anyway, thanks again for being here, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and shut off my peacock. And yeah, keep a lookout on the channel. I'll be back probably on Tuesday. We'll talk Backlash. We'll get into any wrestling news. There was a lot of NXT releases this week that we will need to discuss as well. And there might be some more news by the time we get to Tuesday as well. So we will get into it then. Y'all have a good rest of your night, good rest of your Sunday, and good luck on your Monday. I'll talk to y'all real soon.